Hey everybody, welcome back to the channels. In today's video, we're going to be talking about natural gas /NG, what's happening today, what could be happening tomorrow with UGAZ, and we're going to get into what's going on with this colder weather moving out of Canada into the northwest as well as into the Rockies. In addition to that, I want to talk about the storms that are brewing in the Gulf of Mexico and how they could possibly have an impact on natural gas and /NG as well. In addition to that, I want to jump into the charts. We're going to look at some different levels. We're going to look at what natural gas did specifically today, how that looks against the 50 simple moving average, and how that could affect trading going into tomorrow's session. So stay tuned. So natural gas futures fell for the 13th day out of 15 days, bringing losses to the commodity to about 22% year to date. Now the commodity staged a late week reversal of about 6% from its intra-week low, which is positive. And the reason for this, Reuters specifically thinks that this is due to the weather that we're expecting over the next couple of weeks, 2 weeks specifically. And their weather forecast model is predicting that there'll be a rise in demand from 2.35 billion cubic feet to 11.3 billion cubic feet over those next 2 weeks. So this weather that we're talking about is coming out of Canada into the northwest, and it's a powerful cold front that's going to move into the northern Rockies and, like I said, the northwest of the United States late Tuesday. This storm is going to carry through into Wyoming, Colorado, South Dakota, North Dakota, and it's going to bring some very cold temperatures. The highs in Denver, Colorado are going to be 11 degrees. So they're going to get hit with some bitter cold weather. They're going to get a lot of snow that's coming in. Wyoming is going to get a lot of snow. And then this is going to carry on through the western states into the Midwest and leading to some weather disturbances there as well. Now, more importantly, as we know, the Southeast has been so hot recently. This weather is going to flush all that summer heat out, and it's going to bring fall and winter right to their front doorstep. And this is going to cause people to turn on those heaters, start using natural gas, and over the next couple of weeks, we should start to see increased usage, increased demand, and then lower overall supply. Now, to complicate things even further, there's a disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico that NOAA gives a 10% chance of becoming a tropical storm over the next 48 hours. So we'll keep a close eye on that, because if we do get a storm pushing up from the Gulf, then we're talking about disturbances with production facilities and natural gas pipelines and things that we have to be aware of in terms of damage and repair, which can affect supply and demand and ultimately the price on /NG and directly reflected into UGAZ and DGAZ. So we'll keep an eye on all of this weather moving into tomorrow and through the rest of the week. The Southeast specifically, with that cold front that should come to them, is going to hit late week into the weekend. It looks like Sunday, Atlanta's going to see some very different temperatures than they've been experiencing recently. So I think that'll all hit them by Sunday. And so leading into the next week, we could start to see increased demand possibly of natural gas due to people heating their homes in the Southeast. So we'll keep an eye on all this weather day by day. I'll keep updating you guys. I'll keep posting lots of content about what's going on, and specifically about what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll watch those storms as well. There's another storm out in the Atlantic, and I'll keep an eye on that as well. And I'll just kind of keep you posted on everything that's going on in the Southeast and the Gulf while we're watching the impact of the storms coming out of Canada and how that's going to affect the western states and moving into the Midwest as that storm carries on beyond Wyoming, Colorado, South Dakota. So now that we've talked about all the weather, I want to jump into the charts and talk a little bit about the levels that we're seeing in /NG and in UGAZ. And I want to talk specifically about where price action is setting up now along the 50 simple moving average. We did have a nice push up and a little bit of a pullback, so we kind of had a little bit of a resting day. I want to talk about that and what that looks like going into tomorrow morning. So why don't we dive into the charts? Okay, we've got the chart up here on /NG, the natural gas futures. And I do want to start off like we always do. Let's just look at the weekly chart. And you can see it's really setting up real nicely in that we broke out of this wedge that we had formed a while back. We popped back up, got rejected off our simple moving averages. The 200 simple moving average and the 50. And then as we've pulled back, we're now sort of slowing down, and you can see more specifically this doji candle here, long lower wick, showing some buying pressure, so we're getting some slowdown there. And then we get kind of a pause right here on the weekly chart. So this is looking really nice to sort of touch off this support level that we identified before and get a blast of that colder weather, and then see things start to rise back to the upside and see an increased price on UGAZ. So with that, let's walk over to the daily chart. And what we can see in here is we all know we've had that nice trickle down and then a big hard sell-off. And now we've settled at that support level, that key level we've been talking about, and we got that initial push up. Now I know some of you were starting to nibble a few shares and starting to build a UGAZ position, and now we're getting that pullback here. Some people thought that this was going to be kind of a dead cat bounce or sort of just a little hiccup or pause before we went lower. And what I think is going to possibly happen, and again, this is just my opinion, is we got that bounce. Now the weather hasn't turned yet. Like we said, tomorrow the Rockies are going to get hit. We're going to move further into the week, and the Southeast is going to get hit later into the weekend, which is going to then start demand. So this week could possibly be a return back down to this level with some pausing and some low action days, not a lot happening. And then as we move into next week, when the weather starts to hit the Southeast, then we start to get that push to the upside. So the one central theme that we keep coming back to is the fact that we've got to see winter weather come in, and it's got to cool off the areas that have been really, really hot, which are the Southeast, the entire Southeast. So with the populous dense areas in the Northeast and the Southeast, if the weather can cool off, then that's going to cause a rise in price because people are decreasing the overall supply. And I'm interested to really see what the natural gas report shows this coming Thursday, and I'll upload a video on that as well on when it comes out on Thursday, so we can discuss how much production we had and how much overall supply we have. So we'll get into that as well. So you can see today we just had a really small day where not a lot happened. It was very, very quiet. I think what this is a direct reflection of we had a pop, we had the pullback, and now we're waiting for the weather. Everyone's sort of waiting, when are people going to start buying? When are the buyers going to say, okay, supply is going down, it's now time to go long. So we'll keep you posted on this day by day as we go, but I do think we could sag just a little bit and hang right in here as we're waiting for that weather to arrive. The weather is no longer being talked about as off in the future. It's now moving forward, and we're getting closer to it. So we had talked before about the 10 to 15 day forecast and how valuable that is to look on the horizon, look that far out to see what's coming. And now we're a week closer, and we're starting to see that even tomorrow morning when you get up and start watching the news, you're going to see that Denver's getting snow, you're going to see that Wyoming's getting snow, all these western states are starting to get hit, which is going to start to increase demand on natural gas, and that's going to carry on through to the Southeast. So we'll keep a very, very close eye on this. Very quiet day today. It could be the same tomorrow. What we'll have to see is if we sag a little in here, in my opinion, I might be in a position where I would want to add more to my size. We got this dip. We started to nibble in here. We got a pop up. Now we're getting sort of a breath. We're waiting for the colder temperatures. Could add a little bit to my position size and then wait for the final cold weather to come through, see the results of the Thursday natural gas report, and then wait for that cold weather to hit the Southeast, and we should go back up to the long side. So we'll keep a close eye on that. I'll update you every day. Thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions, please post them below. I appreciate all the support. You guys have been fantastic, and we'll see you tomorrow.